Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
A confused customer stood in front of what he thought was a cash register. It was actually just an unused computer. Other customers assumed he knew what he was doing. 15 minutes later, there was a line snaking all around the department, according to a former employee of the store. Here's the best part. When the guy who figured out he wasn't actually in a line realized I'm not in a line, he moved to what he thought was another line. Okay?
Yes.
Then the next guy behind him moved on. That guy moved on. It's like a little snake. It turns out they had gotten to the end of their own line.
No,
so it was just them circling around the store. Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You're here, you made it, you love romantic comedies. We do as well.
So this is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, dig beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
Today we have
Confessions of a Shopaholic.
And if you hear anything on any of our podcasts that make you want to reach out and talk about something, maybe we got something wrong, or you want to continue a conversation that we had, easy. At Romcom Rewind on Instagram, Sarah responds to literally all of your DMs as well. We have a lot of other things on there, like we're prepping right now for our Hallmark episode on our Instagram, and you are helping out with that. So at Romcom Rewind, that's Instagram, TikTok, romcomrewind@gmail.com is our email. And we have an Instagram DM.
Yes, from Jane. She says, just some suggestions I'm sure you already have. The Vow, Bad Moms Christmas. Just go with it. The Breakup, Hall Pass, Sex Tape. I'm sure you have a giant list. Just
She just added to it with like
I love
6.
it.
Thank you.
She says, just want you to know I just started listening after finding you on TikTok, and it's safe to say I'm obsessed. I love listening while cooking, cleaning, driving, sleeping. Don't ever stop. Have a great holiday season.
Like during everything. We're happy to be your everything companions.
Yes, thank you so much.
Cooking, cleaning. Did you see sleeping?
No, driving.
Oh, driving. Well, like that would be weird if you put us on while you're asleep.
Well,
I don't know if that's a review or not.
It would be fine.
I mean, we're going to take those downloads. That's Confessions of a Shopaholic is a 2009 romantic comedy based on the Shopaholic series of novels by Sophie Kinsella. This is the story of Becky Bloomwood, played by Isla Fisher. She's a shopping addict in New York City. Becky works for a gardening magazine that, after it folds, she is stuck searching for a new journalism gig, all the while her massive credit card debt piles up. Now, after attempting to secure a job at fashion magazine Alette, Becky agrees to a role instead at Successful Saving, an ironically budget-conscious magazine, fiscally responsible. She meets editor Luke Brandon, played by Hugh Dancy, and her world kind of turns upside down from there. What are your thoughts on Confessions of a Shopaholic?
When I was 7, most of my friends stopped believing in magic. That's when I first started. They were beautiful. They were happy. They didn't even need any money. They had magic cards. Rebecca Bloomwood. Dress, Zach Posen. Belt, Todd Oldham Vintage. Bag, Gucci.
It's a fun watch. I have always been meaning to read the books, but then doing further research for this movie, there are 10 books. That is a large commitment. But it's a really fun movie. I love Isla Fisher in this movie. I think this was one of the first movies that I saw where she, was the main lead, and I got introduced to her as an actress. But she's really fun in this movie, although it does give me like a slight anxiety of her credit card bills.
Oh my God,
and
right?
Her shopping habits. I personally love to shop. I not to that extent, but it does like make me go, oh my God, I should probably purge. Maybe I should have a sample sale.
You should. I am so for this.
I know.
I think every relationship needs to have the person who spends and then the other person who's like, but we're like constantly trying to get rid of the stuff that we've spent money on. And that's the duality of this situation right here.
I suppose it is, yes. But no, it was a fun watch for sure. I really liked it. I liked Hugh Dancy in it. I think he was really good. I think I wish he'd be in more. Kind of like James Marsden, they're in the B category, and I wish, we could see them in more leads. The writing was fun. I mean, it is based on a novel, so it was good fun.
Outside of the podcast, Sarah and I talked about this, and you're referencing it a little bit. We talked about actors who just, like, they might star in one or two things here or there, but you see their face and you're like, it's that guy.
Yeah, you don't remember his name, or you remember one of their like first or last name.
Yeah, there are a few consistent traits with them. They are fairly attractive, but not like over the top attractive. They tend to be just like your generic good looking white dude, because like Matthew McConaughey has an iconic look. Like that's Matthew McConaughey. James Marsden, Hugh Dancy, Robbie Amell. You could put them in a line and I'd be like, shit. Oh my God.
They have the same essence,
there's like a generic vibe, but they're good looking though.
Yeah. And what I was telling Devin was that there's like almost categories of, and I'm going to go with men just because it's, this is what came to mind when I was thinking about Hugh Dancy and in this movie. There's like the made for TV or Lifetime or Hallmark movie men, the hunks of Hallmark as they call them. Yeah. They don't go too far outside of their area. So like they all continue to do made for TV television.
Right.
Then we have the Hugh Dancys, like you mentioned, the Robbie Amells, the
Sam Claflin, maybe.
Yes, the James Marsdens, and they're like in the B plus categories. They're not like iconic. They're not, the lead like Matthew McConaughey and like have busted out large. No, that sounded awful.
Wow.
No.
What are they busting out, Sarah? Jesus.
No.
Was that right when you mentioned Matthew McConaughey? Excuse me? Just so we're clear. Okay. Maybe a little on the nose, aren't we?
No, but like they all stay within their category or their rating,
Oh, yeah.
And then
sure.
and then we have like, the Miles Tellers, and every now and then, like the Matt Damons, the Matthew McConaughey's, like they're the ones that if you get them in a rom-com, you're like, damn, we did really, really well, because like this is going to be like an A+ rom-com.
Yeah. And like the James Marsdens, like they will star in a thing, but then they'll also like you'll forget about them, and then you'll see them on like Westworld in his case, and you're like,
oh yeah,
shit,
that guy. Really attractive.
He's attractive and I know him from a thing. And then you're watching 27 Dresses and you're like, shit, that guy, just saw him on a series on HBO. Frig, what was his name? He's just like, but they're good actors. Yeah. And Hugh Dancy is solid in this. So my thoughts are this movie is solid.
Yes.
Isla Fisher is fantastic. I love her so much.
Mm-hmm. I know, me too. She's like so cutesy in this movie.
She almost makes the upper echelon for me, I'll be honest. She's very close.
Wow, you and the redheads, I think.
She just doesn't do enough. Well, okay, first of all, if you're in Definitely Maybe, and she is God, that's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, you love it.
So already she has my heart. Hugh Dancy, solid, buttoned up, serious, to a fault kind of love interest, comes out of his shell. This movie's fun. It's easy. At times it's cringe in a funny way. And sometimes it's cringe just in general, but like you see where they were trying to go with it. Like I understand the jokes we're trying to hit. However, I will say this film, parts of it enter it's just a magical rom-com world and it doesn't need to make sense.
Okay.
And that bothers me sometimes. Like, and I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, like her writing a letter to a magazine, and then all of a sudden he's like, and you got a job. And she can't figure out a story to write, and she goes to this flash sale, and her boss is texting her, and then she comes home and she just writes this magnificent article, and he's like, all right, this is amazing. And it's just like one of those things where like a lot of things fall into place. Yeah. And it's explained away as like, it's just a magical rom-com. Well, and these things just happen.
And one thing too, I noticed, and again, I've never worked in the fashion world, so I don't know if this is true or not, but like, she's like, I have an interview at Alette magazine. She shows up and the receptionist says, "Oh, sorry, it was filled yesterday." Well, like, but I have an interview time. Like, she had an interview time. Would you not honor that time to interview her? And then she's like, and then the receptionist was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Successful Savings having interviews today though." And then like she just goes
He
there.
gives her a visitor card.
Yeah.
Like, just go on up there now. Yeah.
It's just funny how that was the case.
Let's dive in.
Rebecca is a spender, but it's because in her childhood, her mother was a saver, and she still is, but such a saver where all the other kids were getting really cool things and Rebecca was stuck getting the reasonably priced or on sale things. So Rebecca has 12 credit cards and they're basically all maxed out because whenever she shops, she has to like put $20 on one, 30 on the other, 50 on one, and then cash. And she is a journalist. Like you mentioned, she works at a garden magazine and she wants to work for the fashion magazine. So like we quickly mentioned, she has an interview at Alette magazine, but then ends up going to Successful Saving magazine. And she thinks, you know what, I just need to get my foot in the door and then I'll be able to get to the fashion magazine, which is where I want to be. She bombs the interview though, because she literally has no financial sense since she is a spender.
And the interview gets off to a bad start. She had actually met Luke Brandon previously. He paid for this green scarf.
Hi. We met.
We did. Thank you.
Sick aunt. Scarf. Yep.
So much.
Did you get it to her?
I did, and when a stranger is kind like that, it's just, wow.
It's lovely. Do you have a resume for me?
I do. Yes, I do.
So she shows up to the interview with the green scarf. She tries to throw it away. Somebody brings it into him. It was like, have you ever had a really, really bad interview?
Well, yes. So I have. And we did talk about it on one of the podcast episodes where like my mom made me dress up for a camp counseling job. And I wore like black dress pants and a button down white top. And then they made me sing or tell a joke, like a campfire song or sing. And yeah, it was awful. And then they made fun of me for what I wore.
Well, it's a camp job. So like,
I know.
Presumably everybody else showed up with hoodies.
Yeah, like jeans and t-shirts, and I was there fully dressed out with like little kitten heels. Oh yeah, it was awful. Like I was so embarrassed, and yeah, people made fun of me.
So Sarah, we know you are the beacon of justice on this podcast.
Oh my God.
Sarah has the strongest moral compass. Have you ever lied on a resume?
No, I have not. But I know people.
Really?
I know people who have, and it's like grinded my gears so badly because I'm just like, that is not right to lie on your resume.
Listen to you. Oh my God.
But like, no. It's things like their schooling. They're schooling.
Judge Sarah's here.
Oh my God.
It is not right, everybody. To lie on a resume? How dare you?
No. You can lie about little things. Sure. Whatever.
Okay, so Becky lies about knowing Finnish as a language.
Which like...
That's pretty bad.
Which is so absurd. And I'm going to talk about it later.
Okay.
But I did love that part in the movie.
I have for you most absurd lies told on a resume. This is from the website Workopolis.
Okay.
And it's all framed as like applicant claim to blah, blah, blah. So this person, applicant claimed to be the assistant to the prime minister of a foreign country.
Wow.
A foreign country that does not actually have a prime minister.
Okay, wait. So, like, what do they have?
A president or, I don't know, like chancellor or something.
Oh, my God. Regardless, like that. Okay, like, do some research first.
Seriously.
No.
Assistant to the prime minister of Russia. And you're like, Vladimir Putin's the president. Are you...
Okay, that's really bad.
that-
That's bad.
Applicant claimed to be, to have been an Olympic medalist.
Oh, no.
Which is something you can Google. Like,
yes,
that's
you can.
very easily accessible knowledge. Like, I was the
that's
bronze
bad.
medalist at the 100-meter sprint. Like, year.
Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's really bad. Do we know what sport?
No, it didn't say
Okay.
what sport, unfortunately.
I think there was something that happened with like Selling Sunset, like the TV show too, where like the girl Emma on it had said that she did the Olympic trials, and then all these journalists were trying to like do some deep digging, and then she's like, no, like I qualified for it, so she didn't actually like go to it. Anyway, it was really awkward.
Oh my God.
But she like told this guy who she like was, yeah, anyway.
Applicant claimed to have been a construction supervisor.
Okay.
The interviewer, after a few questions, learned that the bulk of this experience was in the completion of a doghouse. Oh, no. Years prior. No. Not quite a construction supervisor, unfortunately.
That's awful. That's
awful.
like calling yourself an artist when you work at Subway.
Yeah, that's exactly what... Sandwich artiste? No. Well,
I'm an artist of sandwiches.
Applicant claimed to have 25 years of experience at the age of 32.
Oh, no.
Strange. You've been serving since you were 7 years old.
That's
wow.
bad. That's bad.
Applicant, this one's great. Applicant applied to a position with a company who had just terminated him. He listed the company under previous employment and indicated on his resume that he had quit.
What an idiot. Oh, that he had quit. What an idiot.
Yeah, I know. Like, you can just ask the manager, like, hey, did you employ that guy?
Hey,
like, yeah, I fired that idiot.
How did that go? Yeah, you know what, though? I feel like I know somebody who got fired but said that they quit.
Oh, a lot of people get fired and say they quit, but they don't reapply to the same
No, definitely not.
Afterwards.
Definitely not. Yeah. No. That's a problem.
Last one, applicant applied twice for the same position, provided different work history, though, on each application.
Oh, no.
Which is amazing.
That's
so
bad.
You're lying about all that work history for sure.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I'm sure they didn't even realize that they did both, like that they applied twice.
But like, you're just like updating your work history all the time? I don't understand.
Or you find stuff and you like copy and paste it. I feel like there's lots of plagiarism.
Probably. Yes. Anyway, so Becky bombs the interview. She doesn't know Finnish, although that was apparently on her resume.
Yes.
And she goes home.
Yeah, she does. And then she gets home and finds out that it's the time of the month where the credit card bills come in, and the credit card bill fiasco. So her and her best friend Suze go through all of her credit card bills while drinking tequila or shooting tequila. And she owes around like $16,000 on all of her credit cards.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Which is like a lot. It's stressful, and she just lost her job. So I'll remind you of that. And so she decides, since they're drunk because they were drinking tequila, she writes 2 letters. One to Luke, who is the editor of Successful Savings, and tells him to go and get new clothes because he dresses terribly. And one to Alette magazine, saying how she wants to work there and gives some metaphors and whatnot of shoes. And she sends them off. And the next morning, she gets a call from Luke saying that he really liked her letter, and that she wants her to come back in and try out a job, a little trial to see how she does. She then realizes that he got the wrong letter. The letters were mixed up. She runs to the fashion magazine to try and stop the letter, and she does get it in a very creative way, and ends up going to work, though, for the financial magazine because she's got to get that foot in the door.
She takes the job, yeah.
So her new boss, Luke, he wants her to write about finances, but in a way that people can understand. That's why he hired her. Says that, the letter that she wrote to him was really, really well done in like layman's terms, and the general public could really understand it. So that's kind of what he wants more of. Says he wants an outline by 3 p.m. that day. But then as she's walking, because she's like super like pumped, she's like, yeah, I can do this. She gets hit in the face with a flyer of a sample sale and goes there instead. This is my best scene, is the sample sale.
No way.
Yes.
Okay, I've got something for the sample sale, but you keep going.
When I think of this movie, I think of her insane addiction to shopping, but this scene specifically.
Really?
When she's fighting with that woman over Gucci shoes, I'm like, I don't ever want to go shopping in a place on Black Friday.
Oh, I know. I know.
Like, oh my God, I don't want to be there. I will shop online for Black Friday, but I can't do it if that's kind of what it's going to be. It's just so much. much. But yeah, her fighting over the Gucci shoes and like saying like why she needed those one pair of gloves because it's cold out and she has hands.
She justifies everything in such a wild way.
I know. And her like line throughout the movie is so creative. It's hilarious. Oh, like my great aunt Matilda fell from a skydiving accident and died. Like, oh, you used that one last week. Like, it's just so funny. But this scene specifically was absolutely hilarious. Like when the girl opens the door and was like, come this way, there's another entrance. And they're like, yeah.
Oh, it's just madness.
Chaos. And I loved it.
It is very, I mean, we are releasing this episode as of our recording. It's right before Black Friday.
Correct.
Which is this does give us some flashbacks of Black Friday. I have for you holiday shopping horror stories.
Oh, I love this.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of from Reddit, most of them told from the point of view of employees.
Yes, I've worked the holiday rush.
The first one is called The Line That Isn't Actually a Line.
Oh, yeah. I can already I'm cringing. Okay.
A confused customer stood in front of what he thought was a cash register. It was actually just an unused computer. Other customers assumed he knew what he was doing. 15 minutes later, there was a line snaking all around the department, according to a former employee of the store. Here's the best part. When the guy who figured out he wasn't actually in a line realized I'm not in a line, he moved to what he thought was another line. Okay?
Yes.
Then the next guy behind him moved on. That guy moved on. It's like a little snake. It turns out they had gotten to the end of their own line. Oh, no, so it was just them circling around the store. Everybody moved ahead.
No.
They moved on to the back of their own line, and it just circled.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, that's like the best thing I've heard all week. I also have been not to lead it, but I have stood in a line where somebody's been standing in and there's not actually a line. It's happened to me.
I feel like that happens at amusement parks too. Like you think you're in a line and you're just like, oh, this gate's not open. So what are we all doing here?
Yes.
Are we just...
Yeah.
We're standing.
Yeah, and then
Great.
you do eventually get to realize that the line isn't moving and you wonder why. And it's happened to me, I think, around also Christmas time, or maybe I'm making this up. I don't know. But I just feel like I've stood in a line where it's not actually a line.
Oh, airports. I feel like that's happened at airports.
Oh,
You get into a line and it's actually not moving. You're just standing.
That is a really good one.
Next story is titled Dude Fights in His Underwear. So, and this does happen at Black Friday. Like some people get into altercations of a physical nature. This Best Buy employee said that he witnessed two grown men wrestling on the floor over some Best Buy vouchers. It was especially unsettling as one of them was wearing nothing but his underwear.
It's so weird.
Somebody had to pull out a fire extinguisher and had to spray them down. All of this occurred ahead of the holidays. So picture naked dude, not naked dude fighting over a Best Buy voucher. There's Christmas carols just jingling in the background. Somebody's got a fire extinguisher blowing them down. Hilarious.
That is so weird.
It's very weird.
That is so weird.
I know. I didn't want to glaze over it. There was a naked dude in this story.
That is weird.
Or at least
I can just hopefully it was a good pair of underwear, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't some whitey tighties or some they were newer.
Isn't it tighty whities? Did
What
you
did
say
I say?
whitey tighties?
I did.
Oh no. That feels worse. I don't know why. I can't place it, but it's definitely worse.
Tiny whiteys.
Oh no.
Why?
Oh no.
I don't know why I said whitey tighties.
Okay.
I can't stop laughing.
Oh my god. Oh, this one's great. So this person says it was an hour before a mall was scheduled to close on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So we know, to set the scene, it's pandemonium, last minute shoppers. Violence erupted at a kids' clothing store between two angry customers, one of whom pulled out a gun.
Oh my God.
The police were called and the mall store were put on lockdown, but many of the customers were just pissed that they couldn't continue shopping.
They gotta get shit done, okay?
Apparently the police were like, all right, guys, you gotta... And this woman's like, I just need to finish this transaction.
Oh, no.
Because think of it, it's Christmas Eve. Like, this is your last possible opportunity.
You have shit to wrap when you get home.
Yeah, the mall's closing? No. I need my whatever I'm purchasing.
Maybe that will make them think better next year to go earlier.
Oh my God. Jesus. Judge Sarah's back. Your sentence for being in a mall on Christmas Eve? It's shopping earlier this year. That's all I got. Let's keep going.
That's hilarious. I loved all of those. Okay, so Rebecca's first article does get finished and is published in Successful Savings magazine. Her pen name is The Girl in the Green Scarf. She doesn't want her name to be used because she wants it to be used for Alette magazine. Everyone is loving it. And then we meet Derek Smeeth. And so we kind of get a little bit of a background story when Suze and Rebecca are kind of in their apartment. But Derek Smeeth is a debt collector, and he has been after Rebecca for months about one of her credit card bills, which is over $9,000. And he finds out where she works and starts calling there. Rebecca quickly tells everybody another lie, that it's an ex-boyfriend who's been stalking her, posing as a debt collector, which like is kind of half true, but like not really, because he is stalking her as a debt collector, but just the ex-boyfriend part.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
So Rebecca does get out of that situation. They block all calls from Derek Smeeth. And a few days later, Luke asks Rebecca to go to a conference in Miami with him. And at the conference, he is introducing Rebecca to everybody around. She is an absolute hit. Everyone loves her and can't get enough of her and her article, The Girl in the Green Scarf.
Including this Finnish guy from Nokia, who Luke Brandon introduces her to. He starts speaking Finnish. She just slaps him because she doesn't know what to do.
Yain. He's really funny. I can't even translate that.
Long time no see, buddy. Mulla ei käy suomalaista saunaa, korvapuusta ja entä sulla?
She doesn't speak it.
She doesn't speak Finnish because she lied on her resume, everybody.
Oh my God.
And Sarah's going to judge you.
Yeah, don't lie on your resume.
If you lie on your resume.
Oh my God.
Because everybody does it except for you.
I
lie on my resume.
Do you?
Well,
no.
You just embellish the truth a little bit.
You can embellish, but it's not a lie. Are you excellently proficient in Excel? Like I'm not, but I'm very proficient in it.
Oh, for sure. Proficient in Excel is the number one.
Yeah, like I might add a very in front of it. Am I? No.
Of course
Have
not.
I been in the predicament of needing to use Excel? Google is beside me, you know?
And
yeah.
A key thing about this trip to Miami is that there's a little bit of a kindling of love between Luke and Becky. They have a few moments. He buys her like a fan. They dance.
Oh my God. This dance scene was also almost my best scene because she peacocks around him.
Yeah.
This is awkward, but hilarious.
It's hard to make Isla Fisher unattractive, but like I was
they
a little
do
like,
a really good job.
I don't know, guys.
And I mean, good for Luke for just going with it. And like Isla Fisher's character in this movie is very much like she is her own person and she's totally good with it. Also, while in Miami, Rebecca takes Luke shopping because she realizes like you do not dress well, you need to dress better. So at first she thinks, he knows nothing about fashion. And then he all of a sudden starts speaking, which Rebecca calls it Prada. She's like, I didn't know you could speak Prada. And he does admit that, you know what, I do know how to dress well, but I don't because I don't want to be defined by my clothing or labels or family. It turns out that his mother is very famous.
Is a famous New York socialite. Yeah.
What is it?
Socialite.
Socialite.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I added a little spice on that too. That's weird. Had a problem pronouncing things the last couple episodes.
Yeah, story of my life. So Luke and Rebecca go out for drinks, and yes, they go dancing. It's hilarious. And yeah. When they get back, though, Rebecca does find out that Luke is actually going out for drinks with Alicia. She works at the fashion magazine, and yes,
she doesn't just work at Alette. She was the one they hired for the position that Becky was trying to get.
Yes.
And now she's also trying to get Luke Brandon, who Becky is. We don't know how she feels, but clearly there's a little bit of love going on there. But it's classic rom-com move. The love starts to bubble, and then they just give you something to divert you. Like, oh, he likes the so-and-so. He likes Alicia.
But you still kind of get the vibe that he doesn't, like, he's not sold on Alicia.
Oh, he absolutely doesn't like Alicia. But from Becky's point of view, she's like, ugh. Don't talk to me about Luke Brandon anymore, is what she tells Suze when she gets back to America.
Yeah. So when she gets back to the U.S., no, she was always in the U.S.
Oh, Miami's still in the U.S.
I was like, what? I was like, hold on. When she gets back to New York.
They teed it up like Miami was such like a faraway place that for some reason in my mind, I'm like, oh, they're like in Cuba. No, they're just in Florida. It's not quite as interesting.
So Suze, her best friend, does find out though that Rebecca never purged any clothing. So at the very front of the movie, Sue says, you know what, you got to get rid of stuff just because you have too much and your credit card bills are way too crazy. So Rebecca agrees, but she never actually got rid of anything. She makes Rebecca also go to Shopaholics Anonymous. Rebecca does go, but she ends up talking about shopping in a way that makes everyone else there want to go shopping as well. She then convinces herself that she needs a new bag, and she runs home, leaving Shopaholics Anonymous, and goes in the freezer, gets her credit card that's frozen in ice, and breaks it open so that she can go and get her new bag. And this is all for her to go to a ball at work. She somehow, at the ball, ruins her jacket that she wore on top of a black and white dress. She then lands in a waitress role because she's wearing pretty much exactly the same dress as all of the other waitresses. Then she makes a disaster and tosses her tray of food everywhere that she's carrying out for a table. And then Luke nicely and kindly picks up the tray and helps her out because that's how he put his way through college. They end up kissing at the end of the night on a rooftop. This is their first kiss.
This is their first kiss. Luke Brandon has a great, I don't want to say gravitas. He has this charm and confidence and charisma.
And I was going to say calm. He's a calming effect. Like in this movie, Rebecca's character is very chaotic and he is the calming.
That's a very good observation, Sarah. You know, like I completely agree.
Yeah, like he's like a spa. So Derek Smith, the debt collector, has come to her workplace as he has coined the phrase a personal contact, I believe. And Rebecca and Derek end up in the same elevator. She calls him from her phone to see if it's actually him, and his phone rings. He picks it up. She immediately hangs up. But then he has redial, so he calls it back. But earlier on in the movie, Rebecca had made the ringtone for his number as "Don't answer this, don't answer this. It's Derek Smith." So he knows that it's her. She gets off at a different floor and runs up to Successful Savings, says, "Oh my God, blah, blah, blah," gets him escorted out by security. So he's pissed. And then she finds out that she's actually going to go on a talk show on Good Morning America.
So many things happening.
So many things
with Rebecca
happening.
right now.
Yes,
She is being.
I know. I'm trying to like get through them like all because they're all like big pieces to the movie because they're all intertwined. Like Derek Smith has left the building literally, and he's now pissed at her. So we know he's going to do something to get her back.
Well, and yes, and he's trying to collect the debt.
Yes.
And meanwhile,
he's doing his job.
Meanwhile, her team is like, "Hey, you're going on television today," and she's like, "Oh my God, what am I going to wear? What am I going to blah blah blah?" And she goes in and buys another dress. Right?
She does with Alette from Alette magazine.
Come on.
On the morning show, it's time for the audience questions. And guess who's in the audience?
Derek Smith.
Yes, he's there to get her back. And he lists all of the reasons why she couldn't pay her bill on live television.
Yeah, he publicly shames her. Also, the truth's out. Luke Brandon's there, so he knows, oh my God, she's been lying about who she is. She has all this debt. She lied to me. It's just a total unraveling.
It is
of
completely.
Rebecca.
Yes. And I mean, you know what? She handles it quite well on live television. It's not like she's bawling. I mean, I would have been absolutely mortified. And Luke asks her why she shops. And this was after, you know, he realizes, oh my God, like she has a problem. And she says the world gets better when I do, and then it doesn't. And then I have to do it again. And she does come clean to him about, wanting to take the job at Successful Savings to get to Alette. And I think it's a big blow to Luke because he saw potential in her and she just wanted it as a stepping stone and not for the right reasons. Not even to pay off her credit card bill. She just wanted to work at the fashion magazine. So Luke decides to leave Successful Saving magazine. He's actually been offered to start up his own magazine within the same company, but he realizes after, talking to Rebecca and having, some deep conversations there that he needs to step on his own, have his own kind of startup business. He needs that in his life. And so he does start his own company. And then Rebecca's living with her parents. Her parents are actually even willing to sell their RV that they just bought with all their money, but she doesn't let them, which I think is really good. And guess who shows up to offer her a job at Alette magazine, but Alette.
You may not know this, but your appearance on that TV show has struck a nerve with many, many girls.
She also declines that. They actually want her to write a column on affordable fashion. When they kind of dive deeper into that conversation, Alette goes, yeah, like even these. And she's like, no, like those are like $5,000 shoes. Like that's not affordable fashion for every day. And she declines the opportunity to work at the magazine. Rebecca still has the credit card bills looming over her. So she decides to come up with an idea. And I think, probably her family and friends helped her out, but she's going to have a sample sale. The sample sales that bring her in to buy more. She's going to have one to raise money to be able to pay off her bills. And it's a wildly successful endeavor. She makes all the money she needs to pay off her bills.
Somebody as well purchases that famous green scarf that she became known for as a writer. And who do we discover was the purchaser?
Luke.
It was Luke Brandon. It was an anonymous, we didn't know who purchased it, and then he reveals that it was him. And then we wrap up everything with a nice little bow. She pays Derek Smith in coins, like pennies, we're assuming.
I love it.
I know
somebody that did that. Not to a debt collector, but to, yes, actually, this is a really funny story. Our high school used to have dress down days and it was $2. And as a joke,
because your school was uniformed.
Yes, uniforms.
Yeah.
Yes. So on dress down days, it was $2. So you paid $2. And
step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at Shopaholic.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at Shopaholic.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I don't know, somebody decided that they were going to have their whole class pay their $2 in pennies. And
which is absurd.
The student got suspended. Because they wouldn't accept I think it's legal tender. So really.
Yeah, but the spirit of a dress down day is what? I'm assuming all of that goes to charity, I'm thinking.
I don't know, actually.
It's a high school. Who could it have gone
I would assume,
to? Are you kidding?
I would hope
is this
that
some
it went.
Bad teacher
no,
shit?
No.
Cameron Diaz is pocketing all this money.
I would hope
they
that
gotta
it went.
Give that to something, or the music
That's
program.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I think it went to programs in the school.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it just feels like the spirit of intent is there in a goodwill way, and this kid's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pay in pennies."
So I believe they got suspended, and then they had to spend the next few lunches. I thought it was genius personally, but they had to spend the next few lunch periods and free periods rolling pennies.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The pennies that they got the class to bring.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Luke Brandon bought the scarf, so they meet up on a street in New York. They kiss. Oh, and the wedding happens. Mm-hmm. Suze gets married. Becky does make it for the wedding, and all is well. And Becky ends up being a columnist for the new magazine that Luke has launched.
Yeah.
Under his own name. And that's it. That's Confessions of a Shopaholic.
It is.
Quick facts.
This film is actually based on the first 2 books of the Shopaholic series by Sophie Kinsella, a pen name of Madeline Wickham. The 2 books being The Secret Dream World of a Shopaholic and Shopaholic Abroad. In the US, the novels were published under the names Confession of a Shopaholic, from which this film gets its title from, and Shopaholic Takes Manhattan. There are 10 books in the series total, and despite this movie being a moderate financial success, no sequel plans have been ever announced. And the novel actually is set in London. However, the movie was changed to New York City to connect with an American audience. I don't know why I did that.
What was that?
An American audience. Following the success of Sex and the City, New York City has been seen or was seen as a selling point to female audiences.
I think I'm going to leave it in.
No, don't, because if you do a TikTok, I'm going to get roasted. That's so mean. Rebecca in the novels is described as a brunette with green eyes, and Suze, her best friend, is a blonde. Neither Isla Fisher nor Kristen Ritter fit this description, but were accepted anyway based on solely the strength of their performance. In the book, Rebecca Bloomwood wishes she was someone really cool like Kristen Scott Thomas, who also stars in the film. Isla Fisher researched her role by visiting some overspend under-earner groups, people whose lives have essentially become unmanageable because of their compulsive shopping.
Dude, that's so awkward.
No, it's crazy.
Like, she just walks in on this group and they're like, I'm so-and-so and I have a problem with blah, blah, blah. And they're like, who are you? And she's like, oh, I'm researching you guys.
Yeah.
For a movie.
That would be
Continue, please.
It would be really awkward.
Let me hear about how horrible your life has gone. Yeah, this is great stuff.
Isla Fisher is 14 years younger than Joan Cusack. Reese Witherspoon, Jessica Alba, Jessica Biel, Anne Hathaway, Amy Adams, Emily Blunt, Kirsten Dunst, Katie Holmes, Amanda Bynes, Rachel McAdams, Lindsay Lohan, they were all considered for the role of Rebecca Bloomwood. Reese Witherspoon reportedly turned it down because she thought it was too similar to her role in Legally Blonde.
I was about to say, and Anne Hathaway, was this before or after Devil Wears Prada? I think this was after Devil Wears Prada. So she couldn't do another like
Similar
high fashion rom-com.
Several of the costumes in the movie were provided from the personal collection of French couture designer Gilles Montezin. Isla Fisher wore 5-inch stilettos during filming. The Finnish man that meets Rebecca at the cocktail party doesn't have his Finnish subtitled, but what he says was, "Hi, so nice to meet another Finn in here. Ever since I've been in America," before Rebecca cuts him off by slapping him. A shopaholic is not a medical nor a technical term. The proper definition is oniomania, the technical term for the compulsive desire to shop. This was Jerry Bruckheimer's first full-fledged romantic comedy production. All of his other productions were primarily action-adventure based. This is his 6th production to have a female lead after Cat People in 1982, Flashdance in 1983, Dangerous Minds in 1995, Coyote Ugly in 2000, and Veronica Guerin in 2003.
The everlasting story Cat People.
I've literally never heard of it.
I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry if it's a big deal, but
yeah.
Ooh.
Ed Helms was originally cast as Derek Smith, but scheduling conflicts prevented him from taking the role. Instead, he got the smaller part of Garrett E. Barton, which he went uncredited for. He shot all of his scenes in one day. The filming took place in New York, Connecticut, Florida between the months of February and May. And it's been rumored that since the movie came out in the middle of the Great Recession, the ending was changed in reshoots to make the main character more sympathetic and to show more sensitivity to the current financial times. At the end, Rebecca Bloomwood pays off her entire debt in coins, saying that she was doing it in the most inconvenient way possible. In real life, Derek Smith could have refused to accept it. While coins are legal tender within the Federal Reserve System, no law requires a merchant or anyone else to accept them. However, if he had refused payment, the debt would legally be considered paid off.
Wow.
I didn't know that. I
that
had no
is
idea.
Fascinating, because we've heard stories of people going to the bank and like being upset and stuff, and they're like, here it is in nickels, and what happens in those situations?
Yeah.
That's what happens. He could say no, and then the debt is absolved.
John Lithgow actually turned down the role of Edgar West twice before finally accepting it. Fred Armisen was approached for the West role after Lithgow initially turned it down, but after Lithgow changed his mind, the Ryan Koenig role was written for Fred Armisen. The Websters, a family of neighbors and close friends of Rebecca Bloomwood's family in the novels, weren't featured in the movie adaptation. In addition to several other historic buildings in New York City, Confessions of a Shopaholic was actually shot in the fabulous Hearst Tower on 57th Street and 8th Avenue. That's where the Cosmopolitan's offices are.
Honorable mentions.
Okay, so I have 2 honorable mentions.
Okay.
Suze, her best friend. She is the MVP for being so wonderfully nice to her. To Rebecca, and so helpful. She's a great best friend, ripping up the rent check because she knows her friend just lost her job and doesn't have enough money to pay, but also knows that she has a shopping problem and like kind of allows her to do it, you know? Like she doesn't like fault her for things. Goes to amazingly large lengths to keep and to help Rebecca avoid the debt collector, and is seriously forgiving and lovely.
She is great.
She
Love
is.
Suze. My honorable mention is the talking and moving mannequins. They actually kind of freaked me out at first. I've never watched this film, so that struck me. I'm like, whoa, that was the green scarf one specifically, where it starts talking to her. It's like her, Becky's inner monologue that the mannequin is saying back to her, like rationalizing all of these wild purchases. But it was really like, I found it was a clever way to physically show her like addiction to shopping. I don't know what, like the mannequins moving and looking at her.
Yeah, her desire to like her pull and need to shop. Absolutely.
I thought it was unique and clever. I really liked it.
I also have one more honorable mention.
Yeah.
Her obsession with Finland.
Yeah.
It's like throughout the entire throughout the entire movie, like it comes up multiple times. Like it is full circle. It starts at the very beginning of the movie and it like makes it way all the way to the end. Like
because there are random lies they say to Derek Smith that somebody's like, oh, like my aunt Matilda went to she had a rock climbing accident in Finland, and somebody does bring it up. It's I think Suze is like, why are so many of your things regarding Finland? It like they do throw in a joke there because it does come up a lot.
It does. And like even Suze's boyfriend makes a comment about it, and like it's got to come up at some point where it's going to bite you in the ass, and it does. But even like she ends up learning Finnish. Like she ends up learning the language in the end of the movie. Like it's just so funny. What a interesting little joke to run throughout the entire movie. I really did like that.
Great. What should have beens?
I don't have any what should have beens.
Oh, actually, you know what? This can be a game.
Okay.
Should this have been 2 movies or should this have been the start of a massive series?
Ooh. Well, if I recall correctly, this movie is based on 2 of the 10 books.
It's based on 2 of the 10 novels. Like, were they trying to tee it up? Like, I think there were 4 novels already published at the release of this movie. So were they trying to tee it up as like a Shopaholic series? Should it have spawned a Shopaholic series?
I think I would have liked a sequel. I think it could have been. I don't know what they would have necessarily done with it, but I think I would have liked it.
The source material's right here. Actually, Sarah, off the top, you said that there are 10 novels.
There
yes?
are, yes.
How familiar are you with them?
Not very familiar at all.
Well, we're going to play a game.
Yeah, actually, that was really dumb of me to say that I don't know what the sequel would be because there's 10 books.
There's 10 novels, guys.
Never mind.
We already know what the sequels are.
I take it back.
And I'll tell you them, but here's the game. There are 10 novels. I'm making up 2 of them.
All right.
You ready? So there's Confessions of a Shopaholic, Shopaholic Takes Manhattan, Shopaholic Ties the Knot, Shopaholic and Sister, Shopaholic Anonymous, Shopaholic and Baby, Mini Shopaholic, Shopaholic on Honeymoon, Shopaholic to the Stars, Shopaholic Holiday, Shopaholic to the Rescue, Christmas Shopaholic.
Oh my God, that's so much Shopaholics. So the baby one and the sister one is fake.
Those are real.
No.
Both of them are real, Sarah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Shopaholic and Baby, that's a real novel.
Wow. Okay, so Shopaholic on Honeymoon?
No, that's real too.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Shopaholic. Well, I know Shopaholic Takes Manhattan is real.
Yes, this was based off of Confessions and Takes Manhattan. Which have 2 different titles depending on where you are in the world.
Yes, they do. Yeah. The Rescue one?
No, that's real.
Just tell me.
Shopaholic Anonymous.
Oh.
And Shopaholic Holiday.
Wow.
Which I think would have been Shop-Holiday.
Oh, I like that.
Shopaholic? I don't know.
Shopaholic?
Well, it's made up. I fucking made it up, so it doesn't matter. It's not real.
Yeah, but it sounds so good. Maybe our next novel.
But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of source material here, and they're like, we're just going to do 2 books, make a good movie that's going to get reviewed bad, and we're never going to touch the series ever again.
You thought it was reviewed bad?
I thought it was good, but like it wasn't reviewed nicely.
I mean, it's hard when you're doing things on books, I find. Like, it's very difficult to hit a home run.
This film also came out alongside, it was competing with He's Just Not That Into You. That movie came out the week before this one.
Oh, yeah, no, that one would do, yeah.
So Confessions of a Shopaholic ended up 4th opening weekend at the box office, still behind He's Just Not That Into You. So it came out at a bad time.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
It was positioned in like not great space to do well.
Unfortunate.
And it didn't do amazingly, but as a rewatch, I actually quite enjoyed this.
I thought it was fun. I really liked it.
And now we are on to rewatchability. My rewatchability is Chemistry, 4.25. Storylines of 4. Thirst factors a 3.5. Imagination a 4. Would have been higher based off a novel series. Soundtracks a 3.5. There are some solid songs in this. Cheese, though, going to pull you down to a 2.5. So that gives you a grand total of 3.62 out of 5. A pretty good rewatch.
Okay, so mine is Chemistry 4.35, Storyline 3.78, Thirst Factor 4.5, Imagination 4.2, Soundtrack 3.75, Cheese 2.75 for an overall score of 3.8.
Wow, we are pretty close on this one. And this has been the Rom-Com Rewind of Confessions of a Shopaholic. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever, throw us a follow, hit a subscribe button. And if you heard anything on this podcast you want to know more about or you want to talk to us about, we're an open book. DM us on Instagram at Rom-Com Rewind.
Thanks for listening.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at Shopaholic.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at Shopaholic.com.
Welcome to the family.